I gotta do because there's a guy that says, one of the books that we read all the time, he goes, you wake up and you say, are you gonna say, good God, it's morning, or good morning, God? You get to choose, right? You get to choose how you're gonna do it every day, So I say you just get up every morning and say, good God, morning, good morning, God. I love that. And that's so important. I think the way we start our day is huge. For me, you've got to pray up before you face out there. You have to center yourself and know who you are before you reach out. So I like this topic a lot about being able to go into soul time and think about these answers, or actually it's not even the answers, because we won't get the answers, it's more about the questions that we're going to live, the questions that we're going to ask ourselves while we're in this quiet time. And what I know for me is that life is really precious, and life is moments, right? It's not about the big things in life, it's about the little moments in life. And when I look at my life, it's been this string of little moments that have been so, meaningful moments. And it seems like my whole life has been a question, right? It's been questioning. It's ever since I'm little, just asking, where is God? What is God? Who am I? What am I doing in this family? That was a big one, and it's, every step of the way, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing in the middle of the night doing bail bonds? It's like, what is that? We've done that, by the way. And, it's like all these questions. And I find that I ask more questions about my life when I'm in between, right? When I'm in between the stuff of my life. Like, there was a divorce, and then I'm waiting, what next? And then there's, death, what next? And when you're in between this time of not knowing is the time that all of these, questions and the seeds start to germinate for what comes next. What's going to be next in my life. And to me, it's the scariest part, but boy, it's like the most exciting part. It's the most exciting part to be there and to know what's going to come next. And what I know is that it doesn't matter what comes next. It doesn't matter how it shows up. What matters how I show up, right? Because that's so true. How I'm going to show up for whatever comes next. And we find that by asking these questions. And so, the biggest question, I think, and I love Wayne Mueller that I was reading at the beginning, says there's 4 questions. And I'm just going to talk about one of them, but I ask all the time, what is it that I love? What's my gift? Who am I really? Who am I really? And how shall I live? That's huge for me. Every morning, and I do this, how shall I live today? How shall I be? And I have a list this long of how I should do, what I should do, and all this kind of stuff. And the truth is, before I get there, I made this intention, and actually was that in January or New Year's Eve when we set these intentions. I thought to myself, I've done gratitude journals, I've done all this stuff, and then I get halfway through the year and they just, I'm too busy to do it or something, and all of this, comes. So I said, okay, this year, what I'm going to do is, get up and the first person I'm going to talk to is the God inside me, right? Before I meet my family and meet the chaos of life, and I'm going to say, thank you. Thank you, God, this God inside of me. And so since the beginning, I've had a little journal, and instead of writing down all of this stuff and journaling, I just write, thank you, God, every single morning. I've done that. And then I kind of think about it, and I go into my questioning mode, and I'm going, what yesterday, what am I so grateful for? There's so many things that we can be grateful for, but what is it? And every day as I look back before this talk, and I thought, there was a theme that ran through mine, and I'm grateful for the connections, right, of life, the meaningful moments, because to me, the most important thing that you can ever do with your life is to connect with somebody else and to be able to have a heart space with someone else, with an animal, with a tree, with a hummingbird, and with yourself. These moments are huge in our lives. And so we have to ask ourselves, how do I want to be? How do I want to be today? And if you have a few of those moments, your day was good. And you can have those moments by setting that intention, See, what I know is that we have to make the choice. In everything that we do in life, we've got to make a choice of how we want to live. and it's not so easy because we grow up, I was thinking about this, we grow up, and I guess every culture is different. We're really a materialistic culture, and so we're just kind of, how should I live? I should live having my own home, right? I should have, a job. I should have this. I should have this. This is the way. In India, they don't live that way. How they live is different than how we live. How somebody in Washington State lives is different than how somebody in California lives. And so we have to break out of the norm of how we're supposed to live. I think down here, especially in Orange County, we're seen as, living differently than some of the rest of the world. And if we want to break out of that, we've got to make the choice to say, how do I want to live, though? Do I want to live a materialistic lifestyle? And by that, there's nothing wrong with that, I like material stuff too, but I want more, I want to live my life deeper. I want to ask the questions of who am I and how shall I live? And I want to take it out there and I want to say, what does that mean? And it means to me precious moments that are so important to each and every one of us. And I think how easy it is to miss the precious moments. And I want to talk about this for a second, because when Judy and I, on Friday, had the Dalai Lama film here, and it was a pretty big thing. And so I think on the day before, we decided we'd have a party before the Dalai Lama, and we would, go get, all the cheeses and the wines and have a little reception. We would do this. Well, on Friday morning, I knew it was going to be a busy day, and so I got up really early to finish my stuff, right? I had to do all these invoices and all this, details of like calendars to do here and all this stuff. So I got up early to finish it so I could be here for class for Eckhart Tolle. So anyway, so I got here, and then that was 11. Then we went and had lunch, and then we went shopping for the, party that we had here. And then we had this huge, big, gathering. There's just lots of people here. The whole place was filled, and just time after time after time, and then there was people that we met, and it was neat. It was a really fun, joyous day. But by 10, let me see, when did we get out? I think about 10 o'clock, people started to leave. By 10:30, I think Stacy finally and Debbie left, about 10:30 or something like that. And I said to Julie, I think I can't do this. I'm so tired now. I'd just beat. And she goes, me too. So we had our bags, and we were all ready to go, and walking out the door. And then the producer, cashier, came back after he dropped his stuff off. He goes, can I talk to you guys for a little bit, And so my first thought, I have to say this, and I feel bad even thinking this, but I thought, no, I'm done, okay? I'm like white, I'm toast right now. And my precious moment that I wanted to have, kind of just melted. And I think you were pretty tired too, And then, of course, we said, yes, no problem, We sat down. We didn't even sit down. We were in the hall with our bags and all of a sudden, he started to talk and talk, and we talked, and there was this moment that it was, of everything that happened to us that day, that 12 hours, it was the most precious moments that we've ever spent. This man is an incredible soul. He's this deep thinker, but it's all not a thinker, a knower. And wouldn't you say that was a special moment when he talked about his life, he asked us about ours, we had this awesome connection. And I guess my point is that sometimes we get so busy with the stuff that doesn't matter. I had to get up to do all this stuff that I thought was really important, and some of it is, and you're almost too tired, and you miss the moments of your life. Not specifically that moment, but I could have missed that one, right? And that was the whole day. That was the best part of the whole day, was talking to this soul and getting to know him and connecting with him and knowing that we will be in connection with him more often. And that's what we do with our lives. We miss the moments that are so important. And that's what life is. It's a string of precious, precious moments. And I'm thinking about, what we go through in life because we are so busy, and I know this is us. This is our journey, and what we need to do is to be able to, let some of the stuff go that isn't as important, and be able to be there, for the stuff that is, and to maybe just, take our life more simply. And I think everybody needs to do that in their life. So they have to look at what's important in their life, because I don't know what it is for you. For me, it is the connection with people, with things, with the quiet inside. And we have to look at that. That's what the questions are about. How do you want to be? What's next? Of all this knowledge that we have in our heads, I love it. I do. I love learning. And I remember the Tao, it says to attain knowledge, you have to add things every day. But to attain wisdom, you have to remove them. See? You have to remove the blocks and all the stuff of your life. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a wise old woman, you know? I guess I'm already an old woman. But I want to that's what I'm talking about, you know? I want to leave the stuff, you know, the judgments, the stuff of my life, you know, that isn't important, and build the stuff that is. You know, let it reveal itself. So, you know, I'm going to learn until I die. I know that. I love knowledge. But I want what I learn to drop from my head and to go to my heart and to live this life of just living in my heart, you know, this wise heart space that we have. So, you know, I guess I'll close. I have a poem that I'm going to close with that talks about living our life. What's important in your life? You know, how are you going to live your life? And this is by Mary Oliver, and it's called The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? The grasshopper, I mean. The one who had flung herself out of the grass. The one who is eating sugar out of my hand now. Who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down. Who is gazing around with her enormous, complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings and she floats away. I don't exactly know what prayer is, but I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down into the grass, how to be quiet and blessed, and how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last, and too soon? Tell me what it is you plan to do with your wild and precious life. See, what's next? So I ask you, what do you plan to do with your wild